Every single day, millions of people climb onto a machine that, for nearly 100 years, was an instrument of punishment. They pay their own money to do it, and they call it a workout. This is the story of the Treadmill, and it begins far darker than you'd ever expect. The first century of our era, the Roman Empire. On construction sites stand enormous wooden wheels, 4 or 5 meters across. Inside them walk people, most often slaves. Every step they take turns the wheel, lifting stone blocks weighing as much as 6 tons. These were the so-called tread wheels, a brilliant and merciless design, because it turns a monotonous human walk into a powerful lifting force. Without them, there would be no Roman aqueducts, no amphitheatres, and no Colosseum. The crane itself wasn't a Roman invention. They borrowed it from the Greeks. But it was the engineers of Rome who had the strangely cruel idea of adding human legs as the engine. One person inside a treadwheel replaced the work of several men at a winch. Cheap, reliable, and brutally effective. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the technology vanishes for several hundred years. But in the 13th century, it comes roaring back. Medieval treadwheels appear on cathedral building sites, in harbours, and beside fortifications. One of them still stands today inside Canterbury Cathedral. For centuries afterward, the treadwheel is simply a tool of labour, heavy, monotonous, but honest. People walk inside the wheel to build something, to lift something, to move something. Nobody has yet thought to turn that same motion into a punishment, but that's about to change, in a way that still horrifies us today. Then comes the year 1818. England is in the fever of industrialization. The prisons are bursting at the seams, and the authorities have no idea what to do, wife idle inmates. And that's when an engineer named William Cubitt steps onto the scene. Cubitt visits a prison in the English town of Bury St Edmunds and sees convicts lying around idle in their cells day after day. He hits upon an idea that will reshape how England punishes its prisoners. He designs a huge iron wheel fitted with wooden steps, where prisoners must tread as if climbing an endless staircase. But what became of his invention went far beyond anything its creator imagined. Cubitt calls it the Treadmill, literally a mill for treading. Officially, the wheel is meant to grind grain. In practice, it's about one thing: to punish the body and break the spirit. Prisoners tread on those steps for 8, 10, even 12 hours a day, climbing the equivalent of several thousand meters without ever moving an inch. By the year 1824, treadmills are standing in at least 54 British prisons. The idea spreads to the United States, to Australia, to Jamaica. On a single wheel, as many as 40 prisoners walk at once, shoulder to shoulder, in complete silence. Officially, it's a tool of rehabilitation, meant to teach the habit of work. In reality, many prisoners faint, break bones, suffer heat stroke. Some of them die. The writer Oscar Wilde, sentenced in 1895 to 2 years of hard labour, spends hours on the prison treadmill. He later writes that the experience shattered his health. Eventually, the public conscience awakens. Doctors sound the alarm that the treadmill isn't reform at all. It's torture. In 1898, the British Parliament passes a Prison Act that bans the treadmill as a form of punishment. By the year 1902, the last wheels finally stop turning. The end. And it seems like this is where the story ends. A machine built to torment people is thrown onto the scrap heap. Who in their right mind would ever want it back? But the treadmill hadn't said its final word, end, it was about to return in a completely unexpected disguise, thousands of kilometers from those British prisons. The 1940s, the United States. Doctors begin searching for a way to objectively measure the strength of the heart. They need a controlled effort, one that can be repeated under identical conditions. And someone remembers a machine where a person walks and walks without ever moving from the spot. In 1963, Dr. Robert Bruce at the University of Washington in Seattle develops the first medical stress test on a treadmill. The patient walks, the speed rises, the incline steepens, and doctors track the heart rate, the blood pressure, and the electrocardiogram. A breakthrough. That same test is still used in cardiology clinics today, more than 70 years after the first version of the Bruce protocol. The treadmill, once an instrument of punishment, becomes an instrument for saving lives. But it's still a machine locked away in hospitals and laboratories. No ordinary person has one at home. Not yet. The year 1968. Dr. Kenneth Cooper publishes a book titled Aerobics, in which he proves that regular aerobic exercise protects the heart and lengthens life. America falls into a running craze. Among the readers is William Staub, a mechanical engineer from New Jersey who doesn't exercise himself. But he sees a market. There's no affordable treadmill anywhere for use at home. Staub builds a prototype in his workshop, names it the Pacemaster 600, and ships it off to Dr. Cooper. Cooper is delighted. He even finds the first customers himself. Staub starts production at a factory in Clifton, New Jersey. The price? $399. 40 wooden rollers, an adjustable belt, and a simple motor. Ugly, loud, and brilliant. The first home treadmill in the world. Through the 1970s and 80s, the treadmill slowly creeps into American homes and fitness clubs. But the real explosion arrives in the 1990s, when modern models gain electronic displays, training programs, and a folding frame. Today, the treadmill is the most popular piece of fitness equipment on the planet. The market is worth more than $9 billion, and it grows year after year. The newest models have touchscreens, virtual routes, and artificial intelligence that tailors the workout to your results. From a wooden wheel driven by slaves to a computer you run on, standing in place. But underneath it all, nothing has really changed. The mechanism is the same as it was 2,000 years ago. Human legs, monotonous motion, the pull of gravity, exactly as it was in the days of Cubitt and the Roman slaves. Only one thing has changed: the motivation. Once you walked because you had to. Today you run because you want to. So the next time you step onto a treadmill, remember this story. That the very same motion was performed by Roman slaves building aqueducts, and by Victorian prisoners breaking their bodies in British cells. Subscribe so you don't miss the next story of an ordinary object. Because the treadmill is proof that even the cruelest inventions can earn a second chance. Humanity managed to turn an instrument of suffering into an instrument of health, even though the motion itself, step after step, going nowhere, stays exactly the same. What other object in your home is hiding a past this dark?